Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we got a little deviation from our normal car content today. I was working on the yard and my edger, which is this Red Max GZ25N, wouldn't start. It's been acting up on me for the last year or so. The last thing I did was change the spark plug and it was working fine for a little bit, except the idle sucked. I did everything, I tested it, I took it out, tested the igniter to make sure that I was getting spark against some metal. So I took the plug out, I grounded the plug onto some metal and I pulled the string and it actually sparked. So that wasn't the issue. I was getting plenty of fuel in here. I took the carburetor out, cleaned it out as much as I could, so it still won't start no matter how much I pull and I try on this thing. So I decided to buy a new carburetor to see if that was the issue, since it's only like a $15 part. So here's the carburetor I picked up on Amazon. They have these things all over the place. There's a bunch of them at different price points. It's anywhere from like $12 to $25 for the set. I found one that was kind of in the middle that had all the parts I needed and some that I didn't. So it came with 4 of these bulbs, which these things usually go bad every year and a half just from sitting there with fuel in them. They start getting hard and brittle and they break and leak. So I got 4 of those now. It came with an extra spark plug, which I don't really need right now, but in the future I might need. It came with 2 extra fuel filters along with the fuel filter that's already there. It came with a gasket and then 2 of these little grommets for the fuel tank. I'm not sure what this is yet. It's some kind of plug or something, so maybe it's for the carburetor inside somewhere, but I don't recall seeing that anywhere being used on the actual machine when I took it apart, so I'll see where that goes if I actually need it. This is perfect for me because this grommet on mine has actually been leaking lately. I got 2 of those, or actually 3 of those now, to replace it if I need to. It came with new hoses, which mine are getting a little bit brittle, so that's perfect for the replacement too. So other than that, I think I've got everything that I need to get this thing taken apart and put back together. So I'll show you guys how to do that today, and hopefully this baby starts after that. All right, so before we start, I'm gonna try to see if I can flip this thing around by unscrewing these 2 screws on top and pulling this baby out. It's a little bit tight right here. Probably just unscrew this side back here, just the stopper, to move it out of the way for some clearance. That baby out, turn it around 180 degrees, mount it back in, and pretty simple. Next thing we want to do is take apart the existing carburetor, so you just unscrew the filter. Once you get inside, you got to take the Torx bit and just unscrew filter housing. These screws actually hold the carburetor in, so you just pull them all out. So there's these long screws right here. So now we have access to the existing carburetor and it's already loose. So what you want to do is just unhook the fuel lines. It's one of the gaskets that it comes with that we're going to be replacing. So we'll go ahead and just pull out the whole assembly for the fuel. So this thing all comes out in one piece here. I'll just set that aside. So right here we've got both carburetors side by side. So our new one is basically a exact copy of the one that came out of this thing, but it looks original. It's got WYA, WYA75A on the part number over here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna swap in this one with the new hoses and the new grommet. The one thing I noticed is that the factory one has these clamps, which I'm gonna just go ahead and transfer over to here. I might need it, especially the one barb that doesn't have the multiple holds right here like the main line does. I think that's the return line. So they just plug that in there and then use this clamp. Then on this side, since this has got that multiple grip barb, it just slips right over, and that should be fine once you plug that in. It's not going anywhere. So the one other part that has one is over here on the fuel filter. It has the clamp here, so I'll go ahead and just pop this clamp off on this side and then use it on the other end. Just cut it off. Throw that away anyways. So we're back over here, so I'm going to just slip the new hoses and filter into the gas tank. Place the grommet in so it's nice and firm. I might have to slide it up a little bit just to get it to measure in with the one that I have here. So pop that baby in there. Get the new gasket that we have, the one that came with. Just line up the holes here. Pretty much right there, lines up all the holes. So it looks like on mine, it had a little, some kind of prime thing that, I think that's what that plug might be right here. Like if you don't use that, you just plug that hole up. But I'll test it out without having that little nipple there and using that plug. So before I get in there, I want to put the throttle cable in. The thing just slides right in. Turn your deal, pull the throttle back, line it up, and then pull it through. So it's pretty simple there. And then you might, if you have to make any adjustments to the throttle cable positioning or the choke, you can just make it the stopper adjustments now. So now that I've got it all tightened down, before I put everything back together, I'm gonna check the prime to see if it pumps any fuel into the bulb. So I've got fuel in the bulb, so that's a good sign there. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and put this cover back on and hopefully it starts. If it doesn't start, I might have to swap over that other primer bulb that has that little nipple that goes into the kind of throttle body or intake manifold thing here. So let's see if this works. All right, moment of truth. I put this little board here so it doesn't spray fuel all over my floor. At least the board will catch it. Got it on the start position. All right, nothing. This thing came with a spark plug. I'm gonna go ahead and try that spark plug and see if that's the problem. Yeah, this would really suck if it was just a spark plug, even though I just changed this thing not too long ago. So this was an NGK CMR 7H. Then I'm gonna put in a CMR 6H. So I don't know if this is the right one, but it's the one that this one came with. So I put in the plug that it came with, and let's see if it starts. Oh yeah, what's up? Oh yeah. So what I ended up doing was double checking why the NGK plug, which was the exact same one I took out, the CMR 7H, wasn't working. So I measured the gap on this guy and it was like almost 0.03, and the one that it came with, this kit that I just bought, was like a 0.022 gap. So I adjusted the gap on the NGK and I tested it, and the NGK actually kept it running and started it up. It must have been a gap all along. At least now I have a new carburetor, I have new hoses, and a new grommet, which was leaking before. So at least I did something today that was right. Anyways, if you guys found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. I know this is not my normal car content, but at least it's a motor, and I did something around the house that was useful. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.